Hi there! How is everyone? This is Susan. I'm glad to be here with you guys today for today's crafting event as I share a play to create demonstration for card making. And so please let me know that you're joining me by saying hi in the comments so that I can pull that up here on my feed. Actually, I'm trying to get that up so that I can see you for the most part. And hopefully you guys can see me. So we're going to just kind of test that out. So yeah, so it's helpful for you to say hi so that I know that I'm not alone and that the technology is in our favor today and working, which, oops, there we go, which it looks like it is. So, okay, I can see my live and I can see that some of you guys are jumping on. Perfect. Well, it's been a while since I've done a live crafting event, so I'm excited to be here with you guys. Of course, I always love when I get a moment to just stop and to play to create a little bit. So, hey Natalie, hey Marcia, hey Pamela, thanks for saying hi, you guys. Okay, card making. First, let me know if you are a card maker. Let me know. I know this is kind of a broken record for some of you guys because you've probably heard me share my story, but I kind of do that finally because I remember the days, meaning back in the past when I was a little intimidated or did not consider myself, I guess in a way, as a card maker. I enjoyed the scrapbooking process and you know, and often sometimes people start in card making simply just because from a paper crafting industry perspective, it can be less intimidating purely because of the size versus the commitment of scrapbooking. But for me, it was the opposite. And I really have embraced not only the creating fulfillment that I get through this creation process for card making, but also the meaningful connections that, you know, that I think is worth preserving in the sense of handmade cards. And just honestly, handmade or not, the act of giving somebody a thoughtful, meaningful card is such a beautiful way, and I think it really does, even in its small little effort, really does contribute to making the world a little bit brighter in a sense. Okay, with all that said, let's get right down to it. Diane, I'm learning to be a card maker. See, Diane, I remember, I guess that's where I was sharing, like I remember the days as I was learning, and thus why it's good for us all to kind of inspire and explore and discover as we go along those things that we can decide for ourselves what is useful and what is not in whatever fashion. So card making, let's talk about it. Let's actually show a quick demo. So you know, it is a smaller canvas, it's very simple, but with that said, just like in our scrapbooking journey, I did find that the reason why I felt even card making was intimidating is because of my need for my my mind to have a tool that helped to start the process, which is where the designer templates come in play in the creation process, specifically related to card making, scrapbooking, these paper crafting creations that we love so much. It was to kind of help solve that obstacle. So of course, I always struggled with card making, but then once the card maker or the designer templates, we transformed them into card sizes. It allowed me to adapt quickly and to, as you say, help me learn to discover, to become a card maker. So it really helped that possibility to help my mind in that creator's mindset to bypass some of those obstacles along that process for card making. So the designer templates, as you see here, this is a card border. So when I said we adjusted them, these are the card borders. We of course have the 12-inch ones for scrapbooking. If you haven't seen those out, let us know and we'll make sure to get you a link to that. But today I'll be focusing on the card making. And so we of course put them down to a traditional card size, which is a 5.5-inch width, and these ones are, actually the new ones are 6 because you can do various different sizes. But so this is a card border. They have a side A and a side B, and the designer templates purpose is to help you design, because the number one obstacle that we found, or maybe you can relate to this, was really the initial, really to get our minds out of in life to start creating. So that transitional phase often can be an obstacle. And then on top of that, not only to get our mind to come from in life so much, and to leave kind of life behind for a moment and just allow the creation process to do what it's beautifully made to do, and that is to help allow you to process life, and so beautifully done in its way that it nurtures that mind, and the many benefits and physical things that creation does for our health in many different ways. But so was the designing, the ideas. And so as you can see here, what you're going to do is start with a card base, which I did here. And the designing tools, as I mentioned, they are a tool first and foremost to help you design, because the ideas, the inspirations, the playing, that really opens the gate to allow you as a creator to start exploring and to just not be concerned about mistakes or issues, and just invite play into the process. And so that's all we're going to do right here, is we're going to visualize. And we're visual people, right? So to have those tangible visual items really tap in and help the process go along. And it's just simple as that. Like, I just put the 2 borders back to back, but we're gonna play a little bit more. Sometimes I settle on such a clean look and I'm like, oh, that's fulfilling and satisfying. You can shift it up with different designs. And so I always like to show these, a couple different ones. I actually had these on my table from previous time, I think, too. So just remember to visualize and to play, and knowing that they're a designing tool. And I'm going to show you the template version. So we call them designer templates because they first help you design, and then yes, you will use them as a template in this play to create steps that we recommend. And so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly, let's just keep it really simple. How about you can see, and I think that's what's beautiful too, is it is adaptable for many different styles. If you love the layer, then keep adding on top. If you love the simplicity, like, go simple, right? There is no wrong or right or anything like that. Each creation that we do does not have to be an extravagant formation of anything. Basic little things here and there. And I also love it because the designer templates in and of themselves, whether it's card making or scrapbooking, are designed to play friendly with other products. So those I'm pulling on some Prima flowers that I have in my stash. I rarely use because I don't believe that you need a lot of these expensive embellishments, but just to kind of incorporate what I mean when to play friendly is that these foundational elements in your design really help allow you to create a place for some of those other supplies or materials. If you have been a seasoned card maker, probably have in your stash, right? If you're a newbie, sometimes those things are fun to get. And again, the designer templates, they love to play friendly. They really do, whatever that might be. So sometimes it might be incorporating those little things that you might have. And if you have them, why not use them in some shape or form, right? And so it just helps to also inspire you in using what you have as well. And so these are all the things that I've really discovered in my own creator's journey, and the process of creation and all of the above. So hopefully that sounds familiar for you guys too. Hold on, Kathy, I started making cards when COVID restrictions started. My sister volunteers at a senior residence, and when they were in lockdown, we began making cards to connect with the residents and offer them some happiness. Oh my gosh, Kathy, I'm inspired, and I just love everything you just shared, because again, that just shares so much how And you know, and that's on your side. You're sharing your side, and I can't even imagine the stories of those residents, as you expressed, like their side of the story of that, right? Like those are the untold stories that you might never know, but 100% are there, and you might not know how much that meant to them ever, but I'm sure it meant a lot to them. So that's lovely. So yes, play friendly. The other thing I want to emphasize is like stamping. I had to go pull up my stamps, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while since I used stamps, but sure do have some. And the designer templates, especially for card making, because I think stamping is, you know, a very common thing with card making, is to do that. And again, the designer templates help utilize those and again, play friendly in that nature. I just pulling on our little card pack thing we have here. Sorry, I should probably mention I'm using Thinking of You, and this is our Kiwi Lane card pack. I think we might have some in the shop, but I'll just mention it because I know some people are gonna be like, what's that paper? So there you go. But I wanted to share with you guys just a little insight too. So we have these printed sentiments, right? And so when it comes to sentiment, you can just simply lay it over, and the templates are see-through. So you can trace that out. Again, keeping that process simple as far as you going through the steps of creation. So, and we'll get all the way through, I promise. We'll complete a card together if you stick around. And then when it comes to stamping, say you wanted a specific sentiment. I remember the days where I used to try to like, this is why they came out with these clear things, right? Like you would try to get it clear, and you would see, and you would try to adjust and align and hope that you got it exactly straight and all of these things. And especially with card making, what I love is if you do incorporate stamps into your creations. Whoops, there we go. Okay. Then the process that I would recommend is that you take your piece of paper, if you were gonna say, you know, cut this piece out of this color, and you stamp it first onto that paper, right? Okay, and then I'm not stressing about whether it's straight, whether it's not. I no longer do that. I remember when I used to do that, but I no longer do that. And then all I'm gonna do is kind of follow that same pattern if it was a printed sentiment, or if I'm stamping, and I would just lay it over, and then I could still adjust, accommodate as I need to, and then yes, you could then trace that out, right? So it's been a while since I've highlighted stamping and card making with the designer templates, and one of the benefits of that too is to help you utilize those. So maybe if you haven't pulled out some of your stamp stash for a while, you know, it's always fun to be inspired in different ways to pull those out. So, okay, let's go ahead and pick out some papers since we have this very simple design here. And really, to keep it really simple, it would be if we kept our AB and we flipped this and turned it, and we just did this design. And I'm going to show you why, and I'll show you the two variations. If you kept those together on a card design, and say you were using double-sided paper, so here I'll use this piece right here, then it's really simple. It's so simple, guys. Card making, and we call it quick card. We call it quick card making because actually quick card kits with a K and a Kiwi in a sense. Quick card kits. It's our way of saying it here at Kiwi. Maybe you guys caught on to that. I don't know. But yes, that was intentional. Quick card kit. Then we just pull this other one. I'm going to flip it. Okay. And we're going to do a straight cut with our paper trimmer. I just moved. Very similar steps to the scrapbooking process. We're going to do a straight cut. And then we'll cut it once up the middle, right? it. And then, of course, I would ink. Sorry guys, I cannot go through the emotions. I'm gonna take you guys all the way with me. And you would ink one side, the flower side, right? And then this is where we had this flip in our design. And so we would flip that over, and that's how you can utilize the AB in card making on that. So you get 3 different designs in the little tiny borders, and so you can, the next card, you can do the next border. You can use 2A, 2B, and the next one you can do 3A, 3B. I'll show you a mixture one here in a minute, how I would go about doing that. But if you're really looking for simple cards, like just keep that in mind, like design with the same AB, and you can notice that they're ABs because it's a pair, 1A, 1B, right? And so again, when we designed it, again, this is it. And if you're using double-sided, you just flip it in your creation. And then when you replace it, very easy, able to do that, right? And then whether it's stamping or say you wanted the printed color version, I love these. I love this in the quick card kits, I really do. It makes it quick. So, but you can use your paper stash, like there's so many different benefits that I have added to the fulfillment of utilizing card making as a creator, to embrace it as well, beyond the fulfillment of the act of giving that card to someone. There is, of course, I love using my scraps, and having a meaning to my scraps is super nice too, because sometimes we never know what to do with those scraps, and you'll be surprised just a little bit of scrap what you can create with it, especially if it's a card or two right? That's it guys, that's simple. I'd probably add, like, you could again add ribbon if you have it. If not, this beautiful pattern paper that we all are addicted to, and whatever paper company that is, it doesn't matter, paper, right? Especially for paper crafting, use those patterns to your advantage. The patterns and the colors and all of that stuff are really useful when it comes to designing with them. So nice to have that in this thing. So I'm just going to cut a strip and say, like, you just wanted to add that. It's not dimensional, it's flat, it's just different things, but if you wanted to, you could again pull in some different elements, or designer template too. Another, like tiny charms or something like that is super cute. But I wanted to show you how simple it is to use the designing tool to design a card quickly, but use up your scraps of paper, so very minimal use of paper, but also how it utilizes and plays friendly with maybe some other things that you have, or you're having dust off the dust and pull those out and incorporate them to utilize them and to put them to use in a meaningful way. So that is kind of that process. And to backtrack on this, since I did mention it, and I do think it's worth noting, so that is a back-to-back with an AB. If you were doing a mix and match, because you can absolutely match like 2A with 1B, right? So like say we had designed it this way, we would have to cut those out separate. You could do, you wouldn't get you could still get the AB cut, but in this case, I would just recommend that what you do, let's pull out another card base. If you feel like mixing and matching, which is always fun too with the designer templates, feel free to, of course, again, play as you wish. Then to make it really, efficient use, then what I would do if you wanted to do that, because I showed you the simplicity of the one, then you would just take these other pairs and they would almost become another card if you want. So I would take this other piece and I could put it over here. And I could do this one so that you can mix and match some of those tiny borders, if that makes sense. So stretch it out, The other option is to put them in, like say you cut those separate, put them one inside of your card and create a little fun. I think that's always fun because it's like, oh, and then you open it to read the little note or thoughtful note that was inside, and it just has a pop of color or a pop of character or whatever that is that you choose to do inside. I think it's fun to also add a little bit of a design sometimes inside of your card. I just think that's so much fun. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I'm going to quickly breeze through them, but that is the basics, very slim basics of card making and the process within just one tiny border. So we call these tiny borders, and there's different designs and of course different things. This is Sincerely that I was playing with, and then pulling on one of the tiny accessories, like this was Tiny Bracket that I played with. There are other ones in Tiny Bracket. There's a vast majority of tiny accessories from that tiny accessories category to choose. Hopefully you could see those possibilities. I showed you one card. You can create, you can keep that going in various different ways. The moment you change that paper, the look of it changes as well. You can get so much use just out of a few different designer templates in the tiny versions. And of course, not to go too deep, but even these tiny ones are what we use on our projects and our scrapbooking. So hopefully you're finding a lot of multiple usefulness out of those designer templates and your creations, because that is what they're also designed for. And so, yeah, it doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need much to start with. A few papers, and if that, just maybe one of the, like, here I have one here. This is for a different project, but a little 6x6 pad. My goodness, you know how many cards you could create with a 6x6 pad? It's endless. Like, it's completely endless. You know, I love our quick card kits. They have the paper, the patterns, the card bases, and the sentiments variations inside of here. Or you can use a couple stamps. You don't have to add a sentiment, and meaning sentiment like on top of every card. You can keep it general. So like this one, I did put this little sticker here, but you can just do pretty little, you know, set the mood, and then that leaves it open-ended for any occasion, any reason that you might need a card. So also keep that in mind when you're creating cards. It again, keep it simple. Keep it simple, and just embrace the meaningful connection that does happen through card making. And of course, like always, when you get done creating that card, send it out to the world, because that's what cards want to do. They want to fulfill their purpose. They want to live to their true potential, guys. So let those cards go out and live to their true potential, and you can help it, bring it to existence, to help it do what it was created to do, and that is to go be sent, to be mailed, to be thought, to be given to somebody else that maybe you haven't said hi to for a while, that maybe needs a little pick-me-up, that maybe needs a little reminder that even in our busy lives, I'm thinking of you. All of the above, right? And so if nothing else, I hope that sometime this week that you are encouraged to slow down for 5-10 minutes, go grab one of your handmade cards and put a little stamp on it, drop it off at a neighbor's house, give it to your sister, your mother, whoever you want. Just send it out to the world. Truly, it's such a beautiful art, and it's worth sharing in many ways. So, all right, guys, well, enjoy the rest of your day. Feel free, like always, if you are inspired by this creation, if you are inspired to go send a card and you want to share it with us and inspire others that might be in the Kiwi Lane community that might not have watched this, like, please share it with us. I would love to hear if you do have an experience related to card making. Please share it with us in the Play to Create group, or even in the Kiwi Lane community as we work to get that going and in the future get our app done. But overall, if you are inspired by using Sincerely or brackets and you have that, share it with me what you create with it and your versions of creations. And of course, if you do, use #CreateWithKiwiLane so that we can so we can see it and we notice it in different ways. And I would love to celebrate with you guys and your creations as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the community. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.